setting up the setup for the.
Yeah, that's fine.
But actually, so you know that I'm not actually just gonna play up what you said. I think this is the. Are you recording now?
I am recording now, yes. And I'm
I
sorry.
think I think how Wonder of You ended is the worst bit of power creep and also the worst like ass pull that Iraqi has done so far.
I 100% agree because the amount of ass pulls that had to happen for Wonder of You to lose was straight bullshit.
Now let's be very clear here. By all rights, Toru should have won, and there should be no debate about him winning.
Am I the only one who felt that that one fucking piece of debris from the airplane in the middle of the fight took way too long to hit the ground? Everything else happens instantly, but that one part of Calamity's like, we're just gonna take 10 fucking
Well,
hours to hit the ground.
well, I don't know if you noticed this, but Iraqi ran into the same problem as he always fucking runs into, which is he's come up with a really cool, unique final stand. Oh shit, he's done it again. He hasn't figured out a way to ride himself out of the hole without it sounding bullshit.
I'm gonna keep it a buck here. The way Wonder Review loses is also bullshit. Like I know it's an ass pull and like there's other stuff, but like Soft and Wet Go Beyond should not have beat Wonder Review. It it's so inconsistent how they explain the bubble where it's like, yeah, no, fuck you. This falls under Calamity. This should not worked. This should not have worked.
So you want to know what the problem is with how they explain the bubble? Is that at the start of the series, that's all it's supposed to be, is a soap bubble. But in the end, it's basically this non-existent piece of fucking hair that spins around forever. So I'm gonna. So I know a lot of people have had like conversation about this, but by all rights of how um go beyond functions, it uses the golden rotation. So by all rights, Ball Breaker and Axe 4 should be able to bypass.
The first thing I thought of when they explained that the spin is what lets it win is like I was like, okay, so then Ballbreaker in Act 4 would have won. If Johnny actually knew what the fuck was going on, he probably would have killed Wonder Review. All right, understood.
Now
Understood.
I now I want to get your opinion on this. Do you also agree with me that there is a scenario, depending on how this plays out, Funny Valentine would absolutely win with Love Train.
Okay, okay, so I want to talk about the fight while it's still fresh in my mind, and we will talk about that. Funny Valentine with Love Train. I think I think he wins because all Wonder of You can do is throw Calamity at you, but Love Train just redirects Calamity. So so this is what would happen. Funny Valentine is in Love Train. Wonder of You is like, oh, you're pursuing me, and I have words. I have so many fucking words about that pursuing bullshit, but whatever.
Why? Because it's another one of those things where it's like Araki realized that he can't move the fucking story forward because of how he set up the power.
No, because I don't know if it was I was talking to you, if I was talking to Beyonder or somebody, but do you remember during the fight? And God, can I say there were so many breaks during this fucking fight? It's like a 40 chapter whole fight. Because I will say that from the hospital where you said the start to the end of the
No,
fight is all one fight.
I, I said start at poor old Tom.
Oh, then you know what? I did not start where you told me to. I started at the hospital because I thought that's where you told me to start. You know, the first time they're at the hospital where I think they're asking for the guy, but they don't. But they barely see him, and this is before Calamity has started. They see his shadow, and then
Is this
slowly Calamity builds up.
so? Is this when Josuke and Mamazuku were there, or is this when Yasuo and the mother is there?
Uh, Josuke and the other guy are there with Yamamoto, with the pink haired girl. All three of them are there. They're at the hospital trying to look for somebody, and then they randomly see the guy, and they're like, "Hey, hold." It happens when Wonder Review first shows up. You know how it shows up in the staircase, and then Josuke tries to attack it.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get reference of what, because it's been like half a year
I
since I've read.
yes.
Like,
So
so I'm trying because there's two fights that happen at the hospital, so I'm trying to figure out whereabouts this took place.
when the main characters, all three of them, finally realize Wonder of You exists and the antagonist exists, that is where I go off
Oh,
from there.
so when Mamazuku basically came up with the idea of, hey, perhaps one review functions on its own and Toru doesn't have to do anything.
Okay, so that comes a little later on, but yeah, no, he actually. What the fuck is his stand power, by the way? Does he turn himself into like fucking like pencil shavings or something?
Mamazuku.
Yeah.
So doggy style allows him to basically turn himself into tape. But
Oh, it's tape. Okay. I was like, he's turning into something. I just don't know what the fuck he's turning into.
think of it like a shit stone free.
I mean, to be honest, there's probably more applications for that one. Have you already started streaming yet or no? Just making sure, but no. Okay, so I will say I'm gonna keep it a buck here. I'm gonna keep it a buck here. I think a lot of stands in the series actually would be Wonder of You. I'm actually gonna say that. Not all of them. I do think that you have to have a certain level of knowledge to beat Wonder of You, and if you don't have that knowledge, you just die. But if you're
I'm
aware, there's some
I'm
old fuck. Go on.
I'm gonna say this right now, and I don't care how anyone wants to interpret this. Any of the time-based stands would win. That includes Mandome. That includes Made in Heaven, King
Yep.
Crimson, Star
So
Platinum, Wild, anything. Because for Calamity to take place, something has to be thrown at them, which means something has to be like Calamity has to, even if it's just like the wind. But if everything is paused, there's Calamity can't do
uh,
anything. It can't
uh,
do anything.
I 100% agree. The first thing I thought in my head, because I thought it was you, but it might not have been you. It might have been like Beyonder or somebody else I was talking to. Someone was there telling me Wonder of You beats everything in JoJo's, and I know Araki said that Wonder of You is the strongest stand, and I do believe those two positions can exist. Wonder of
No,
You
no,
could be
no.
the well,
I think the position is it has the most disgusting ability, but that doesn't mean it's the most unbeatable.
I would say like yeah, like you can call Wonder of You the strongest stand like Araki does, and I don't think there's any issue with that. But that does not mean it is unbeatable. There are several stand users throughout the series that could probably have been Wonder of You. Because here's the thing, and again, I want to talk about the whole fight as a whole, but I'll probably just be sprinkling here and there. You can hurt Wonder of You even before Calamity hits you. You can touch him. He's not untouchable. During the fight with the fuck, I'm not gonna remember his name, so I'm just gonna call him fucking, I guess doggy style. fucking,
Well,
fucking
well,
Rocky.
his name is Mamazuku, and the namesake comes from a Snoop Dogg song.
Fucking look, the tape guy. The tape guy grabs Wonder of You by the neck, and Calamity hasn't hit him yet. And I'm gonna, I don't know if it was you, but man, I was oversold hard on Calamity. Calamity can't be good, but like, it's a fucking dice roll. Either you're getting one of the most bullshit attacks in the series with the rain, or you got a random cart tripping you. There is no in between. You either have the most inconvenient issue or death from above. Fucking worthless. You know what?
Uh, I'm not gonna say it's worthless. I think I think the thing that makes it really dangerous is the range is basically wherever you are on the planet. As
No,
long as you as long as you think about maliciously going after the head doctor, you're fucked.
no, none. You know what? I like how I had the maliciously part because that. I fucking hate the way Intent was treated in the final like sort of section.
Well, because there's a way to get around Calamity that I think a lot of people don't understand, and that's if a character can just not think or act on instinct, Calamity just won't activate.
No, because I can do you one better. As long as you don't think about specifically pursuing, Calamity doesn't work on you. If your thought is I want to keep let's say Toru, I want to keep Toru from moving, Calamity will not activate on you.
Well, no, because it's more specific than that. It's basically like I want to visit the head doctor. If you just thought in your head while fighting him, I want to visit the head doctor. Calamity won't activate because Calamity won't see you as a threat.
Yeah, dude, when the fucking pink-haired girl, I think her name was Yoshimura or whatever, you already said her name. When she saw the doctor's face, I was immediately thinking, okay, Calamity's gonna come for her because she's searching for the doctor. Now she sees his face.
Well, no, because this is how it works. Because the head doctor is an actual head doctor. He takes patients. He goes and visits patients. He works at the hospital.
Dude, and when I saw the limits of the Calamity attacks too, because there are some stupid limits on them, I was like, this is the strongest stand in JoJo's. This is the strongest stand. So
So this is where I'm going to say that Calamity and Wonder Review. There are two ways to look at it. If you know nothing about how the ability works, it is one of the most frightening fucking stands to go up against. Even just like other verses, because you're going to be thinking of pursuing and killing. If you know how the power works, it's the most ineffective thing because once you understand its activation conditions, you can avoid it.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it a buck for a minute. I don't think Wonder Review would have been a threat to any of the other protagonists except for like Johnny, but Johnny didn't know what was going on, and
What
Johnny's also
what
wheelchair bound.
what, what you think Josuke would have won?
Dude, I don't know. Maybe well, part four Josuke. Let's clarify part four Josuke.
Yeah, I was gonna say you think part four Josuke, you think Jonathan, and you think Joseph would have won.
Okay, so let's go. I honestly think Joseph would have won because Joseph, I think, is smarter than the other protagonists, and he would have figured out immediately how Wonder Review activates. And after he thought about it more, he would figure out what the conditions are, and he would have just tricked
So,
Wonder Review's
so do
parameters.
so do you think instead of what final JoJo fights have been like since like part three, what he would do is he would engage with it once, back the fuck away, wait a couple of days, maul it over, and then try again.
Here's how I'm going to give you a little fan fiction scenario as to how this fight would go. He sees the doctor and something gets in his way. But again, to clarify, and I fucking hate people who argue this, Wonder Review is not an insta kill. It will not immediately chuck a fucking meteor at you or something. It starts small. It starts gradual.
What it wants to do, it wants to dissuade you from going after it. But if you continuously become a pain in the ass, it will continuously get worse.
Also,
It's
I go
it's
on.
trying to it's trying to stop people from going after it, not kill.
Yes, that is. It's not until Toru himself during the fight later on flat out says you will die from Calamity, and the chain starts with you. Toru has to maliciously decide that the Calamity is going to be lethal, but Wonder of You as the stand doesn't give a fuck. He's just like, leave me the fuck alone, bro. Fuck off. Also, I should clarify that Wonder Review's ability with Calamity does not. How do I say something that makes sense? It doesn't break reality the way. There's like one instance, and actually, I don't think you've ever talked about this because maybe you forgot. Wonder Review technically retcons previous events to make Calamity happen, which I found really fucking bullshit. But that was like, I was like, Araki, please stop,
I
bro.
don't remember that.
Okay, so because again, I just got to read the fight. Do you remember at some point during the fight there's a break with a reporter talking to the doctor? Like the reporter's like, "I have your fru. I'm going to expose you as a fraud." Now you might not remember this because it's a very brief section.
Um, was this when they were hiding in the tree?
Yes, I believe so. Around that point, I believe it was around that point. Wonder Review, because the reporter can find the doctor and talk to him. But Wonder of You has to get him to say, I am pursuing you for Calamity to activate. Now, at
That's
first,
right. That's right. Because the head doctor asked him, "Are you pursuing me?"
yeah. So if you just say you're not pursuing him, Calamity doesn't immediately activate, which is, I never want to hear these people say this is the strongest stand. I don't care what Araki said.
Well, no. Like what he can, it can still lose to a lot of other stands, and the statement can still be true.
Yeah, but like, I want that strongest to be put in parentheses. I want an asterisk by that shit. Because he
Well,
can't attack.
well. Do you remember? Do you remember some of the? Do you remember the armor that Alphen has in Tales of Arise, and how I said it's basically a better Wonder Review.
Yeah,
Do you remember why I said it's a better Wonder Review now? Because it doesn't need an activation condition.
yeah. No, but to go on that point, the reporter, nothing happened to him. There's nothing bad with him or anything. And then the doctor starts talking. He's all like, hey, you must have, at some point, opened that jar. And when you opened that jar, you must have smelled the fruit and determined it was a fruit based off its soury smell. But what if you were careless when you were closing that jar? What if a piece of liquid from that fruit got onto your finger? What if, when you opened that jar, that liquid got into a cut on your hand? And if that were to happen, it would be really bad luck what would turn into stone in your body, and the guy's neck turns to stone.
Are you telling me that he's actively rewriting the fucking timeline?
So this is where I was tripping the fuck out, because there are some moments where Wonder of You is actually bonkers, but the rest of the time it's within reason. The three times I saw Wonder of You legitimately breaking reality, or at least rewriting reality for a couple seconds. The first time is when they're first pursuing the Wonder of You. Out of nowhere, a glass door gets in their way. Like, there's no explanation for this door. It wasn't some random nurse or some shit. There's just a random glass wall in their way. And they didn't see it before. But technically, that is possible within a hospital's layout because they have glass doors everywhere. The second time where it got trippy was that scene in particular. I remember there was a third moment where I was like, what the fuck do you actually do? But yeah, no, wonder if you can technically rewrite the past to make
Oh,
calamity happen.
was it how he basically comes out of like nowhere? How the head doctor can basically appear anywhere he desires.
You know what? That might have been it. The whole teleportation thing was fucking. I really do not like when Iraqi tries to be clever like that because it just never makes sense when you actually look at the full stand. It's kind of like
Well,
a, go on.
the problem with him is I think what he does is that he comes up with a cool concept of a power, and then he tries to mold the story around it.
You want to know what it gave me vibes of? It gave me vibes of Part 3 Jotaro, where he has all the shit in his prison cell, but like, once you figure out that Star Platinum only has an effective range of like 5 meters, you have to wonder how the fuck anything got in that prison cell.
Was it 5 meters or was it 3 meters?
I think no, you know what? The world might be 5, he might be 3.
No, no, the world's like 10 meters, I believe.
Star Platinum has a smaller range in the world, so it might be. Fuck, is it? It's not. There's no way it's 3. Three's, well, I don't think it's 3. Okay, so
Because he gets a beer, he gets a comic, and he gets a go kart, like a small little remote
he
control
has a
car.
desk in the fucking cell, Kyle.
Yeah,
Also,
so I think the other time where this shows where Araki's just like, I'm gonna make powers and then I'm gonna try and fit the story around it is the start of part 5.
yeah, yeah, I think you're right there. Actually,
I
so I
I,
will. Oh, go
I,
on.
I like I like Araki's writing, but I think that's his downfall is that he doesn't plan story, he plans powers. He then plans the fight, and then he tries to cram story around the fight to try and make it make sense.
So I will say, well, the only villain outside of part 1 and no, I think Cars. No, actually, Cars might be Wonder of You to be honest, just because of his healing factor.
Do we fucking take do we take the novel or the fact he could just probably convince Calamity to come with him?
I'm gonna keep it a buck here. I don't think he could, because Calamity has its own will. I don't think it would. I don't think it would obey Cars. I don't think it would even try to like join Cars. I think it would just tell Cars to leave me alone, or I'm gonna make your life even worse.
Well,
If we ever
well,
get a George Joestar sequel, he will be fighting Calamity, 100%.
if I remember correctly from what Mangler told me, I think he convinced Requiem to come with him.
Yeah, but Requiem is kind of like a baby, where it's like it's not really. It doesn't really have a will of its own. It's a slave. It's just a slave to its master. Calamity
Well,
is
well,
in.
actually, this is this is what I wanted to get your opinion on. Calamity has been around for fucking decades. You could even argue it's a primordial force, but Toru has it as a stand. But we know that Toru only came to life like maybe 60, 70 years ago.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the story would have been a lot better if Toru wasn't the main villain and Wonder of You, the stand itself, was just a self-autonomous stand that was the villain. I think that would have been a much better
I,
conclusion.
I think they should have gone the route of like an Anubis type
Yeah.
where it's like Wonder of You is a self sustaining stand, but it's working with Toru.
Yeah, I think that would have been. Well, I mean, they kind of give that implication a little bit that like, cause during the fight when Toru starts die, or when, and this is where like when the mom stabbed Toru and Calamity didn't activate, and she's all like, "I have no intent to hurt you. I'm just keeping you in place." Bitch, you just stabbed his fucking hand. What the fuck are you on about? No, he literally screams at Wonder of You like, "Wonder of You, what are you doing? Why can you let this happen to me?" I'm like, yeah, Toru, your stand is like fucking super situational bullshit, bro. You're like a 10 in the right scenario, but you are a 1 everywhere else. Also, Wonder if you can't fight. Uh,
Actually, this is something that I think we might this might be fun to do is a villains have a villains gauntlet to see who does and doesn't pass Wonder of You.
I'm
But there'll be two categories. One where they don't know what it does, and one where they do. Because I guarantee the ones where they do, most of the villains will fucking win. And I'll tell you this right now: the one villain that will have the easiest time, if they know what it does, will be Kira.
Oh, interesting. Because I was thinking to myself, Kira would probably be the guy who has the hardest time. Because
So
Kira's power would fucking
if
shit stop Wonder of You, 1000%.
if Kira doesn't know, he's fucked. But Akira that knows what Wonder Review does, he'll literally just tell the head doctor his name, and the head doctor won't understand why he's telling him his name because it won't count as a pursue.
Oh my. So, you know fucking what? I completely forgot that Dirty Deeds activation for fucking what's the actual ability called? I think I forgot what the ability was called.
Are you talking for Kira?
Yeah, what's his special time power called?
Killer Queen bites the dust.
Right, bites the dust. I completely forgot that bites the dust activation is just finding out Yoshigami Kira's name. Oh, that's
But what a lot of people don't understand is that Kira Kira can activate the bomb at any time. He can go back in time, and as long as nothing stops the bomb's activation conditions, the head doctor doesn't even have to meet him in the same circumstances. He'll die at the same time every time.
you know what I was kind of what I was thinking is that Kira could like slowly learn the doctor's pattern over the same day, resetting time, and then one day just touch a door the doctor's gonna touch and blow him up, and the doctor could Calamity could do nothing to stop him. Also, before someone says, because again, I want to talk about the whole fight, and Kyle still hasn't started streaming yet, but you know, technically Kyle's got a stream to get to soon. But if anyone says Calamity technically survives Toru's death, so like shouldn't that apply? They kill the stand immediately. God, I fucking hate how fucking actually he dies. I hate the death so much because it makes no fucking sense. But
Well, well, the way that the way that Go Beyond is described as well is it's like if something is non-existent, then it's getting through no matter what. So
no,
by all rights, I can argue that Vanilla Ice could also win,
so
and
this
also Okimaru.
this is what I fucking truly despised about Wonder Review's like ability as well and like the rules about it. Soft and Wet Go Beyond does not exist. It exists within reality. It's just so infinitesimally small that it bypasses Wonder Review's calamity. There is two statements for Soft and Wet Go Beyond. One is that it infinitesimally spins till it's infinitesimally close to nothing, and the other one says it's nothing. But both statements say it's infinitely close to zero. So it still fucking exists. It's just
Wait,
so small that
wait,
Wonder Review can't fucking deal with it.
wait, close to zero.
Yeah.
So fucking Requiem would fucking negate Calamity because it just does zero.
So I'm actually gonna say something here well, Requiem is obviously a god tier stand. I think Requiem would only win because it negates Calamity, but I don't think its power actually beats Wonder of You, if that makes sense. I think power wise, they kind of stalemate each other, but because Wonder of You cannot fight, let me stress that again, it is a stand that cannot fight. Every piece of damage it inflicts is either by a rock creature, because it fucking summons like fucking a bunch of rock creatures to fight Josuke, or Calamity. So if you can negate Calamity, Wonder of You just gets fucking trounced. I'm sorry. I've been told for so long that Wonder of You is this godlike threat that can't be beat by anything for the most part. And like, oh, even other stands can't beat it. Also, before someone says Wonder of You claims no stand power can beat its ability, Wonder of You not only got touched by a person, he got beat by a stand ability. So, yeah, I'm not taking his word with a
Well,
grain of salt.
well, I'm also going to put it this way: how many of those people has he fought that actually figured out what his ability is, and how many of them have just tried to square up to him like face to face, like an actual stand fight?
So I'm gonna go ahead and read to you the first description you get for the bubbles as why they bypass Calamity.
But
Those,
you know what I mean when I'm like when it's like no stand has ever beaten me. It's like yeah, but did they know your ability and how far away were they?
yeah, no, this like if it's just the stand. I just remembered there was another weakness to Calamity. Calamity does not work on stands technically. I know it sounds weird to say, but I can explain my reasoning. During fuck, I really should summarize the fight, but anyone who's watching this probably already saw the fight. So now the fight was nice, but probably go into
Let,
more detail of the fight later on.
let's
Do
put it
you,
this way: there is no what out of all the final fights, this is not the one that's going to have any justice done if you try and summarize it because it's literally if you want to summarize the fight, just shrug your shoulders.
basically, do you remember the raindrops? The raindrops that would pierce their body if it touched them? One of Wonder Review's best showcases of Calamity, by the way. One of the best examples. A raindrop hits Josuke's hand and pierces his hand. Okay, so the rain can tear them apart. Beautiful. Soft and Wet is unaffected by it. Josuke summons his stand and punches the raindrops out of the air, and Soft and Wet takes no fucking damage. Calamity is only on Josuke, not the fucking stand.
You know what? I think I know why.
Because the stand's technically not pursuing.
Yeah. Soft and Wet's not pursuing. Josuke is pursuing.
Yeah. So there can literally be an argument
But,
where any
but no,
stand user who knows about him.
no, by all rights, if I had a gun and I was to shoot at him, I would be fucked, but the bullet would still hit him.
Yeah. Yeah, or Calamity would just redirect the bullet potentially, because Calamity be Calamity, Calamity be silly. But no, no, no. Not only that, Calamity can not only works on the people pursuing. Josuke and the other guy, fucking Doggy Style Stand Master, I'm not gonna remember his name, they run into a cop car and the water stops hitting them. If Josuke had an umbrella, he would have been fine. The raindrops can't go through the umbrella. Bro, fucking Wonder of You got hyped up so much more by the community of people than actually the fucking writing itself. Although, to be fair, for people who are thinking I'm downplaying Wonder of You, Calamity can be strong. There is a girl who rolls over and loses her fucking arm, which that was. Can I just say how fucking silly that was? She just falls over, gets up, and her arm's lying down next to her, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Well, let, let's let's roll this back so people know that we're not like absolutely shitting on Wonder Review. If you want to put Wonder Review in most shonen verses, it's walking through most shonen verses with little to no effort.
Yes. Although I will paraphrase. When we talk shonen, we're not talking shit like Dragon Ball and stuff. Because I'm gonna keep it a buck here. I don't know how it would work against superpowered individuals, which is kind of why I think Jonathan might have an argument to beat it. Because we only see it beat up the equivalent of fucking like teenagers.
You
But
know, would be would be actually a pretty fun discussion where we could actually start discussing this, and it would be a really fun scenario.
what?
Wonder Review versus Gojo.
You know what, Kyle? You know what, Kyle? I had the second I was reading that fight, I had that exact thought in my head, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Uh,
I think Gojo could probably do it.
I think Gojo can beat Wonder Review. I think Gojo can not only survive because here's the thing too. Here's the thing too. Calamity works on rules. From what the rules are shown, it does not warp reality substantially to get rid of its target. Every time a guy dies to Calamity, there is some explanation for how the Calamity occurred, or it retcons a previous interaction to make it worse. But technically, also, just to be clear as well, according to because I still want to read the ball. Actually, I not only think that Gojo can survive it, I think Hollow Purple technically bypasses the restriction of Calamity being able to stop the attack. Because, again, to clarify,
Well, actually, because we don't know if Energy Blast would count as being part of the stand, or if it's something else that it has to focus on to redirect.
that is true, but the reason I say Hollow Purple, I'm saying Hollow Purple here. Gojo states Hollow Purple is an imaginary force. Let's take it at somewhat face value that it's not naturally existing, since it's two polar opposites combining. Let's assume that.
Oh no, fuck that. Let's just call it what it is. It's basically just an energy ball. So
Yes.
by all rights, a Key Blast should be able to do the same thing. A Rasengan,
No, 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 no,
probably.
no, no, no. I would actually, I would actually disagree here a little bit because the reason I'm bringing up Hollow Purple specifically and not red or blue is because Hollow Purple does not naturally exist within the world of JJK. It is two polar opposites melding into one. The reason the soap bubbles technically work is because they are so infinitely close to zero that does not exist in the world. So Hollow Purple, since it can't naturally exist outside of the Gojo clan doing it, I think technically meets the requirements of the bubble to potentially bypass Wonder of You, just in
So
general.
so uh, so instead, you would say that um like the truth seeking orbs in Naruto would count as being able to bypass because they
Yes.
technically don't exist outside
Yes.
of physic elements.
Yes. The truth seeking orbs, I think, would fall in without existing within reality to do that. Because they don't exist within logic, technically. Their powers beyond that. Because what Wonder of You specifically says about Calamity is if something that does not exist in this world does exist somewhere, if there perhaps exists something that is not affected by the logic of this world, it can overcome the flow of Calamity.
Well, I got a question for you.
Hmm.
What about Buggy?
Did you just say what about Buggy?
Fuck yeah, buggy stonks are going up. Let's go, son.
How is Buggy a Yonko? This can't exist within the logic of the world. He's
No,
bypassing Calamity.
no, because anything that Calamity would try to do to him would be the equivalent of uh, outside of pulverization. It wouldn't really be able to do anything because everything else would be counting as like a cutting attack, wouldn't it?
I should also clarify that Wonder Review's attacks are varied, but they are varied within some degree of reality. So did you remember Wonder Review's attack where it had someone kill themselves in order to attack the group?
Maybe.
Okay, so right after they leave the airport, this is after Wonder Review has started fighting them. It started like hurting them. To prevent them from coming after him, it attacks the protagonist by having a guy walk up in front of him and basically snap his own neck, causing the rest of the people to call the police on him. So every attacks Wonder Review does on you aren't even physical sometimes. They might just be social or they might just be like situational that aren't physically on you. Fuck, Wonder Review might unironically just give you a bad review on Yelp to try and get you fired as part of a way of Calamity dealing with you. There's actually an argument where Wonders Review attacks don't even go after you. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Did,
I, I I think something that we should do in the pipeline is the villain gauntlet of who does and who doesn't pass because I think a lot of people are going to be pissed off of how many villains do pass if they do know what it does.
you know, I will say, while Wonder Review as a battle stand is dog shit, I actually understand why so many YouTubers made the whole gauntlets of like, can they get past Wonder Review? Because like, yeah, it could be an interesting discussion actually, just because of how Wonder Review operates and how Calamity is so inconsistent. But yeah,
Well, the thing with it is that like it's interesting because it's technically one of the most bullshit scenes, but once you understand what it does, it's one of the most easy to get around. If you know what it does, there are stands in part 3 that are scarier.
yeah, 100%. Also, not everything Wonder Review does is an insta kill or even super deadly. At one point, Wonder Review sends a cigarette out at Josuke and it just like pierces his hand and burns him a little bit. And then a car hits the pink-haired girl because you know that's what Calamity did to her, and she's fine. So sometimes you have a leaf slicing your hand off. Other times you got like a trolley in your way. I don't ever want to hear someone being like, "Oh, Wonder Review just fucking causes insta kills or brutally maims you." No, it doesn't. There is a chance for that, but it is not always. Also, it's also inconsistent with how Calamity works because like when Josuke gets no, it's not inconsistent. I forgot. If Wonder Review knocks you out during Calamity, the Calamity ceases. If you are not killed directly by Wonder Review's Calamity, the Calamity stops. When Josuke goes out into the rain that's supposed to kill him, after he passes out from the pain, the rain doesn't kill him anymore. It doesn't pierce his skin. Because he no longer has the thought of pursuing the doctor. I will say though, the Wonder Review doctor, the doctor's aura is actually pretty impressive. I was actually as a character, I liked Wonder Review. If it wasn't for the power scaling discussions around him, I probably would have liked him more. But I was just reading it. Oh, you know what? Before I forget this bullshit, because I think people are going to say, you want to know what I fucking hated the most? How Toru actually got hit by Soft and Wet Go Beyond when it went through the phone. Fucking straight bullshit. No fucking way does that make any fucking sense. That's not how cell phones work. I don't care if her stand's connected to it. That's bullshit. Do you actually remember that, or did you forget what happened there?
I, no, I remember that specifically because I was reading it at work and I said the same. I was like, "Oh, off."
Like fuck you, bro. That's bullshit.
I,
But
I, like, there's a reason why Toru felt fucking cheated, and it's like, yeah, you should feel fucking cheated.
But yeah. Also, when I learned Wonder of You can't technically attack at all. It's a purely defensive stand, but its defense is like one of the most broken offensive passives in fiction. Probably not in fiction, but definitely in shonen. Um, yeah. I wasn't let down, but I do think as a final stand boss, I was kind of expecting I don't know. I guess the
Look,
fight went fine for the way it was supposed to. It just felt a little weird, you know? It wasn't really that kind of climactic conclusion.
so this is where I have to tell you, like, part 4, technically, when you go through part 8, like, fully, you'll understand this, but part 8 technically has 2 endings. It has a part 1 and a part 2.
Right, I think you mentioned that at one point. Actually, you want to know who had a really bullshit stand that kind of caught me off guard? The eldest son of I think the Hishigaya family.
Do you mean, speaking?
Yeah, Speed King's ability. I was like, okay, okay, pop off, pop off. That shit was fucking broken. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That Speed King was a more impressive stand in the end than fucking Wonder of You was.
Well, actually, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. Here. A character that should have been a final antagonist level stand that would actually beat Wonder Review, because Wonder Review would just have no way of understanding of what's going on, or Toru. Metallica.
You know what? He always sees the people chasing him. I wonder what would happen if he couldn't see the guy after him.
Well, it's not even that he sees them chasing; he knows who's chasing him.
Yeah, but so the way Calamity works technically
Because
is he always sees them technically. Like he knows who's after him.
here's the thing: Calamity didn't start affecting Josuke and Mamazuku until the head doctor knew he was being pursued by them. Until then, he was still being pursued by them the entire
Yes.
way.
Actually, there is a good question of how Metallica would actually react when the doctor doesn't have blood in his body. Like, would he be like, "Oh, that's not the stand, or that's just stand. I have to find the user." At that point, actually, now that I think, you probably couldn't find out who Wonder of You's master actually is unless Wonder of You fucks up. Because I think Wonder of You talks himself as the Doctor. Toru's his master, but I don't think he ever. No, I think he does name drop Toru halfway through the fight, but that's because Josuke already knows about that because the girl fucking rats him out. But yeah,
Even then, even then, one of you saying that like Toru is my master is fucking up in the air, because it disobeys Toru halfway through the fight. He's just like, no, I'm not coming to fucking help you. I've got my own shit to deal with.
hey Toru, could you not be fucking trash, please? I thought you were a rock human. Do
Uh,
something.
well, wasn't it? Maybe this is a Mandela effect, but I'm remembering the other part of the fight where one of you basically told Toru to like fuck off. I'm fighting as well.
No, Toru yells at him for not helping him out, and Wonder Review doesn't say anything. Wonder Review's like, she doesn't have the intent to kill you or pursue you, so nothing I can do, boss. She's not pursuing you. Can't do anything about it. You want to know who I didn't like though? And maybe he'll grow me as a character if I read it. Um, not Gappy, but in the fighting game, the guy with the green shirt.
With who uses the bolts?
I believe so. Yeah,
Uh,
he
Joshu? No, he fucking sucks.
Okay, yeah, because I thought he was fucking trash.
He's a fucking despicable character. He has no redeeming qualities. He's just a genuinely like shit character.
Okay,
Like you love to see bad things happen to him. He's that
yeah,
type of character.
because I was just there looking at him and I'm like, I thought you were pals with the main character based on the fighting game, but
They're not friends there. He fucking hates him because in his eyes, Josuke basically got adopted into the house, stole his fucking room. Basically, the woman that he's in love with basically falls head over heels for Josuke, and basically he sees him as his rival, even though like Yasuo tells him the entire time, "I'm not interested in you."
Boy, just sounds like Pete to me.
No, he's how I put it. You know that archetype in the show where you have G little brother who feels like they're owed everything, but they do nothing.
Yep.
That
Oh, yeah, but so that was
the but the dad um the dad's actually a pretty good character. He's my favorite character in that part.
the dad seemed chill, but obviously in the final fight, like during the final fight, his son basically just takes him out. So not really much.
Well, he doesn't have how I put it. He doesn't have a combat stand. He has a situation like a situational stand.
Oh, is he like the fucking chef in part 4?
Kind of. So, King Nothing basically through scent he can reconstruct what was there, and he can
Oh
tell.
yeah, I remember now. Yeah, because that's where he sees that the guy how the guy died, from fucking his son's attack.
Yeah, and how like who's been sneaking around his house and shit.
That guy actually, I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like some of the, like a lot of the final stands in the final part of JoJo Part 8 that I saw, because I saw that guy like control them with the marks. A lot of those stands were actually not bad at all. Those were some pretty like, hey, you know what? You got some decent stands here. You want to know what you want? I just realized if Wonder of You actually does retcon Calamity backwards, he's technically a time manipulation stand.
Fuck, he would fall into that archetype, wouldn't he? And you know what? I was thinking for a long time, and technically, fuck it, D4C falls into that because he's technically going through timelines.
Yes, sir. But I think I've more or less got most of my main thoughts out. If Sanel wants to talk about like the fight in more detail, I can do that during the Saturday stream. I will just end this for now, saying that I'm just gonna keep it a buck here. If the Stardust Crusaders knew what he was up to and they all showed up, some of them might die, but Jotaro's absolutely beating the shit out of Wonder of You, no question about it. All I'm saying, he's got that knowledge. He's
So
stomping him the fuck out.
what you're saying is just fall on the rest then.
You know what? You want to know what I'm curious on, Kyle? I'm curious what Calamity does against the 20-meter Emerald Splash. Because it's not technically pursuing you. You
No,
walk into it.
mm,
The real
fuck,
question, boys. Can Wonder of
fuck,
You block the Emerald Splash?
I can't survive the crossfire hurricane.
I think technically he's pursuing Wonder of You. Damn.
No,
What if the Calamity is just Dio appearing in front of him and stopping the attack?
no, you know what Abdul does? He just goes, I wasn't aiming at you. I was aiming near you.
You joke, but I can unironically see that logic being used by stand users. Oh,
You know what? This might make people angry, but fuck it. Mariah's stand should be able to beat it if it touches the PowerPoint.
Mariah's stand. Fuck, I forgot what her stand was. Is that the electricity, like the magnetism girl from fucking part 3?
Yeah,
At some point, we'll talk a whole gauntlet about this later on because I do think there are arguments you can make for a lot of these stand
I
users
I,
beating
I think
Wonder of You.
we're digressing from the topic and moving into topics that sound like a lot of fun. That should probably be our own video.
You know what? Yeah. So on the video here, but I just have one last question about a character because I'm curious about your thoughts on this one. Do you think the younger Darby brother could figure out if Wonder of You knows he's pursuing him or not with the yes or no questions.
Ooh. So it's instead of the doctor asking the questions, he's just like, "Am I in trouble from your stance?" And he just remains silent. He's just like, "I'll just fucking read you, because you are technically a soul. You can't hide that from me."
Bro. Okay, we'll call it there. So this
Wait,
was well.
remember? Oh, this will actually get into a fun discussion because he can only ask yes or no questions. He can't ask for specifics.
So
He
you
has to fumble around in the dark until he gets the answer.
okay? That sounds like a fun discussion. Wonder Review is a fun thing to talk about, but it's not as powerful as people made it out to be. But so yeah. Thank you guys for your time as always. Well,
D4C still better.
true. Thank you guys for your time as always. Have a nice day. Sanel, this video is mainly for you, so you can get my initial thoughts about it since you kept asking for it over the past couple of weeks. Sorry I didn't get to it. And if you want to have more in-depth discussion during the fight or about the fight, we can do that on Saturday during Kyle's stream. So yeah, thank you guys for your time as always, and have a nice day. I'll see you guys on the next streamer video. Take care, everybody.